everyone. Today I just wanted to jump on here and discuss Vogue's Global Conversation series. It's really incredible what Vogue's doing and the conversations that they're bringing about with world-class designers and discussing the global pandemic in terms of fashion and the industry and really how it's shaping the industry and making it change into a more technologically advanced format. A lot of the brick and mortar shops are really struggling, especially the independent brands. So luckily Vogue decided to do a global conversation series where they discuss 4 different topics: the future of brick and mortar, the future of fashion shows, the future of e-commerce, and the future of creativity. I tuned in for the second day, which was the future of fashion shows. Balmain was present, as well as Balenciaga and Chloé. It was incredible to hear their different thoughts about how we move forward during the times of uncertainty and how we can all look towards the future and really focus on what can change in fashion for a positive stance. Being able to look at global leaders in the fashion industry and see yourself in those positions, or if you run an independent brand, finding inspiration by some of your mentors or people you look up to in the industry. There were some big takeaways today. I would say 2 of the largest things where they discussed the future of fashion shows and how technology could be embraced by fashion. In my personal opinion, I think there's been many gaps in the industry on how to move forward, and there's so much opportunity. They discussed specifically virtual reality. While I was studying in London at the University of the Arts there, they have a digital anthropology lab, which is really incredible. And you can go and you can actually feel all the new technology in terms of augmented reality, virtual reality. They actually have gloves for haptic touch and feedback, which could be an application to e-commerce soon or in the future, the near future, let's hope. You'll be able to shop online and actually be able to put on a glove and feel what the texture of that bag or that shoe or that garment looks like. So many people discuss touch and feel and the importance of that when buying garments, especially in luxury items. And it's really something that's lacking, because when we're buying things online and we're going through e-commerce sites, we just scroll and you lose really that personal connection with clothing. It doesn't really mirror or match the incredible feeling of falling in love with a garment in the store. Fashion designers and fashion creatives are willing to take a risk with virtual reality and inject more technology into fashion, but they're apprehensive because they've never dabbled in that area before, and it's not where they're comfortable. Some of them are much more comfortable doing a traditional fashion show where you fill the front row with people of influence within the industry. It's very exciting that Vogue really took a step forward and was able to discuss this with some of the top industry people in the world, including Olivier Roussier. He really represents the younger generation of designers up and coming, and the way he was able to turn Balmain completely around from a brand that very few people knew, being able to use young inspirational people such as Bella Hadid or Gigi Hadid, and the Kardashians I think have been truly instrumental in raising Balmain's presence online. Olivier actually shared a very interesting thought. He could see a future without models in it because it's such a struggle in this time to be able to do things a traditional way. I believe that models will be replaced by virtual avatars of yourself online, because as everything shifts more to an e-commerce base, the research is showing that more and more people want to feel represented in advertising. And I think the best representation of someone in advertising or on an e-commerce site is yourself. So if you're able to scan your body type and be able to upload it and shop directly onto your person, I really don't see how you wouldn't take that option versus viewing clothes on someone else. It doesn't make sense to continue using models that a lot of people believe perpetuate unsustainable and unrealistic beauty standards for the world and for the fashion industry. A more sustainable model would just be to be able to upload your own avatar. We've been a bit apprehensive to accept technology as a way forward in fashion. Of course, they discuss the VR possibility and making things more digital, but I think we're always going to crave that human interaction. It's not about going to the fashion show to see the clothes. That's only one small part of it. It's the after parties, it's the celebration, it's everyone being in one place. It's where everything comes together in fashion. The second largest takeaway from today was the fact that they actually discussed doing a fashion month, and that's it. per year, just one fashion month in one city. And I think that would be really incredible for so many reasons. That amount of traveling, that amount of people, that amount of stress, the lack of food, the lack of sleep, it's just such an unsustainable model for so many people in the industry. So many times designers discuss how it's so difficult for them to pump out these collections. It's become 6 seasons in a year, 7, 8 if you include couture, if you include pre-fall, if you include resort. It's never ending. It's difficult for these designers to keep up. I do hope that that's something that really comes to fruition, because if it did, again, I think it would be such a positive change for so many people in the industry. We've seen many designers take their lives. My favorite designer of all time is Alexander McQueen, and watching his documentary, the fashion industry is basically to blame for his demise, simply because they forced him into a world that was all commerce first and creativity after. And that's not how it should be. We're in a creative industry. We love the people that we're around. We love the people that we work with because they're such true creatives and they're following their dreams and they create incredible art that we live our lives in, to quote Devil Wears Prada. I love that quote. And it's so true, and we're so passionate about it, and so many people get up every day and this motivates them to have a better, more enriching life because they get to wear these incredible clothes and be around these incredible, inspirational people. That's why I love fashion. But that being said, the first day really discussed about sustainability. Of course, Stella McCartney, she's been able to bring something to the industry that includes a bit of transparency about what people are doing about sustainability and how we can all do our part. Fast fashion is a big issue in the industry, and it's something that we really need to focus on and realize that we can all do better. Natasha Ramsey-Levy of Chloé actually gave us a really incredible insight into how textiles are purchased for fashion shows or for a collection. And unfortunately, when that textile has, before it's even run out, but when they're done making that particular skirt or that particular garment, it is thrown away. But that was interesting because Nicole Phelps of Vogue Runway was on the call with Olivier and Natasha and Cedric, and Natasha called out Vogue and the other publications for making it seem that when a textile is used in a collection, if she ever reuses that garment into the following collection, then she is villainized. Apparently Vogue always says, oh, we've seen this is nothing new, you should really be producing new things, you should be more innovative. But she said that's impossible because we have to mass buy all of that fabric to make sure we have enough to create the collection. And of course, there's no way to gauge how much the demand for one product should be. The biggest issue in sustainability that I think has gone unaddressed until this point, or at this point in fashion, it's really not about, well, it is creating less garments, but it's about creating so many garments, and then the luxury houses don't want to flood the market, so they don't want to make the value of a particular bag go down, but they're not willing to produce less. People really want a quick demand, and they want that product right now in their hands in 2 weeks. They want it and they want it now. So if they had to wait and just produce the bag whenever they got an order for it, they would never be able to fulfill that order within the time the client wanted the bag. So they have to produce many of them, and unfortunately it's usually too much, and that's why you can read newspaper articles. I'll try and put some around here, some links down below about it, because they burn the extra product because they don't want to flood the market, because they want to keep the demand for that product high and the supply low. It's pretty much business 101. If you think about it. And it makes a lot of sense why they do that, but it's very unsustainable and it's a bad idea for the planet. And really, it's just bad press at this point. I think we need to start being much more transparent about the sustainable efforts that each brand is doing. I'm going to also link some things below that are really incredible sustainable brands that you guys should check out. It's exciting times that Vogue has decided to open up this conversation, because I think these conversations are so imperative to move the fashion industry forward into modern day times in some sense, as well as open up the floor before and hear people's opinions and global leaders on how they're dealing with this pandemic and what we can do, and again, what smaller brands can look forward to, or how to perpetuate their brand's image and how to move their brands forward. Because if we don't start changing things at the top, we'll never be able to change things at the bottom, because that's exactly what creates the trickle-down theory or the domino effect. It's so difficult when you're standing alone, whereas if a global leader says that we're going to do everything we can to be more sustainable, it becomes the industry standard, and then most people will have to eventually follow suit or be held accountable for their actions, rather than a small brand fighting the good fight and the top brands not held to the same level of standards. So I hope this brought a smile to some of your guys' faces, and I think there's still slots available if you want to tune in. I'll also put a link for it down below here. All in all, I think it's really incredible what Vogue's doing. They've always been an industry leader, and clearly they are keeping that up, and they're doing something positive in these really uncertain times for brands and for the industry as a whole.